Welcome to the Checkered Shorts Podcast, a podcast of three fraternity brothers reconnected by their love of IndyCar. Join us for grid-rival IndyCar fantasy talk, predictions for upcoming races, and reactions to race day results and all things IndyCar. Let's go racing! All right, welcome to another episode of Checkered Shorts. This is episode number 16, and with the practice and the tradition we started just last week, so steep in tradition, the Checkered Shorts podcast. We're going to start naming the podcast episode after the racer, or racers that drove that car. So, who do we got this week for episode 16?
This was a tough one. 16 is not a common number in IndyCar history. First thought was Simona Di Silvestro, if I can get that out. I believe she ran the 16 a couple of years ago for that year that she had the all-female crew. But we're going to go way back to 1946. Shout out to Connor Daly and the Speed Street podcast for this isn't such a random guy, but the 1946 Indy 500 champion name was George Robson. That was the last time number 16 was in victory lane at Indianapolis. I believe that's won 4 500s, but not since 1946. Interesting fact about Mr. Robson, had a very uneventful, undistinguished racing career leading up to 1946. Had not won what they would call now IndyCar race in his career. Won 6 that season, had an outstanding season, and then unfortunately passed away in a racing accident toward the end of that season. So just when he got things going, he might have been a legend. He might have ran off 4 in a row or something, but
really could have.
Mr. Robson, number 16, 1946 Indy 500 champion.
R.I.P. R.I.P. He's a good one.
Yeah, so it's also we're excited because we're finally at race week once again.
Race week.
So,
let's go. Coming up.
At Barber, name of the race sponsor is, help me out, guys.
Children's of Alabama Indy Grand Prix, and I did see today sponsored by or presented by somebody, and I don't remember who that was. So, Children's of Alabama. So,
I felt like this was felt longer than 3 weeks, man. Even with IMS practice, it still seemed it seemed like 5, honestly, maybe 4, but it seemed like a lot more than 3 weeks.
I think it gets that way the closer you get to May, Pat.
Yeah, you might be right.
We're looking forward.
I'm excited. Barber's cool, man. It's just knowing the little bit that I know just from TV. It's a cool looking course. I think it has the potential to be a fun race. I think all of the 3 of us definitely want it, but I think the sport needs it right now. Not that all of those have been snoozers, but to get a real race in, get a little bit more action, get a little bit more excitement coming up to the month of May and these next races. That's kind of what I'm looking forward to off the cuff.
So we got a traditional road course here. Lots of elevation change. I think I read 80 feet change in elevation.
Yeah, you're right.
And if you watch, go back and you can pull some clips. There's little 1-minute clips of guys going around the track, kind of a tour. And it's a lot of up and down, even some blind spots as they go up over the top of hills, or they go around corners where the drivers have to actually turn their head to the side of the car to see where to go next. So just a really fun race course. I've heard it called the Augusta of IndyCar of just because of the way it's manicured and the beauty of the facility that it sits on. So yeah, just going to be an awesome viewing experience on TV. So make sure to tune in on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm sure Fox will, in the fashion of the last couple of races, the drone shots and showing the city and showing the track itself. I'm sure it's going to make for some pretty good television. Yeah. So another thing that's interesting about Barber, it's one of the first races I watched on TV, and I'm watching, and you see the swinging lady, one of the bathing beauties of IndyCar, the groupies.
Regina.
Yeah, Georgina. I didn't know the story of Georgina, so I had to kind of look into that just a little bit. But watching that race and seeing some of the oddities that they have around the track, art installation type pieces, is pretty unique as well. But then the woman hanging from the little overpass, and last year when she fell off, it was entertaining television for sure.
That's a mannequin for those of you who don't know the
Yes,
story behind
right, yeah.
Georgina. So
Yeah, the broadcast, they were pretty adamant, weren't they, Pat?
Man, I mean, it was Hinch who first said something about the mannequin falling off. And I mean, if you're there, just glance, you could have thought it was a real person. And then Townsend made real clear that it was a mannequin within about 5 seconds. But it was pretty funny seeing her just, good footage from NBC back in the day to get that mannequin shot. It was pretty damn funny.
And then I'm watching on television. My wife walks through and she's startled by the whole scene because she thinks someone's laying out on the course. So it was really entertaining. But bonus trivia question: Georgina was not just involved in a fall, but there's a bit of a hit and run that took place at Barber last year as well. Who was driving the car that took the arm of Georgina?
Pat?
No, I mean, I don't remember the guy's name. I don't think anybody would, except for Dinwiddie.
Professor of IndyCar, Professor Brian Dinwiddie.
I'm going to go one of the 17 guys that raced for Dale Coyne last year, Luca Giotto.
Luca Giotto
clipped the hand of Georgina as she fell from the sky.
He's been blackballed from IndyCar ever since.
He hasn't ran since. Damn it.
Cursed him.
Yeah, no, they had about 10 drivers, Dale did, didn't he? That last year?
He put a lot of guys and girls in his vehicles last year for sure.
Imagine if him or just any other driver, and you for the first time you see this mannequin laying and you're going, what, I don't know, 120 at least right by him. That's gotta be something you probably never seen before.
Yeah, hopefully your chief is on the headset telling you in your helmet.
Yeah, right. Like, hey,
that's not a person. Georgina's on the course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're used to seeing chipmunks and squirrels and rabbits and even deer run across, but not a human being. So
hopefully Georgina can stay put this year. That's over the walkway over the track, right? Where she fell. She fell. I think this track doesn't get enough credit for being as cool as it is. When you think of a race track, a race course, racetrack, you don't think of Alabama. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think just in watching, just to kind of refresh my memory, I watched a few minute videos of the past few years. These starts are really exciting. Yeah. They're, it's a 45 foot wide course. On this first green flag, these guys are going 3-4 wide. And then there's this huge swooping U-turn. So it definitely has the potential to be excitement. I think the tire deg has been some issues here in the past few weeks. I don't think it'll still be a point of topic, but I don't know if these guys are gonna run 2 laps and get off of them like they have. But I'm excited for it. I don't think it gets enough credit as a cool racetrack.
Yeah, I agree with you. The start kind of reminds me in a way of the Indy Grand Prix, and mm-hmm. if you're familiar with that race, like that start of that race, because they're all coming down the front stretch of IMS, like they get 4 and 5 wide, getting ready to dive into one. And, mm-hmm. I think Barber allows for that same type of thing diving into that first turn. So it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out.
Yep.
Yeah, you mentioned the tires, Pat. I think that's a good point to make is, we've been pretty critical about IndyCar and how, they've asked Firestone to create these differences in the tires. And they've kind of messed that up on the 2 street course races that we've had so far. The disparity was so big that mm-hmm. they wanted to get off those tires quick. But this being a road course, I feel like the first road course at Thermal, they did a better job with that disparity. Yeah. We saw that when Pelot took the alternate tires on the last stop, and then, was able to get past Lundgaard and Pato for the victory. So I'm looking forward to that piece, just that being truly racy. And that's what the design of those reds versus black tires are.
Yeah, you don't want it to be about the tires. Obviously, they're going to talk about it and, the alternate and the primary, but don't let it be about it as much as it has been, I think. Let's see some exciting races with some different strategies, a 2-3 stopper, who does what, maybe a yellow. Again, I don't want anybody to crash out by any means, but it'd be cool if Georgina does come on the track again to get a yellow for all of us. Let's get these guys bunched back up. Let's get some mixing up and stuff like that. Still, I think still only one yellow.
Yep.
This whole entire season.
On the first race. So
yeah.
Just some action. We need some guys bumping and banging. We need some spin outs. We need, I don't want anybody getting hurt like you, but we do need some action. And I think we'll get it here this weekend.
Pat, you mentioned strategy, and this being a course that they didn't add any laps to, there have been different strategies to win this race. 2-stop, 3-stop strategy. What kind of guy are you? Are you a 2-stop guy or a 3-stop guy?
I would tend to be, I think, a 3-stop guy. But I don't know the statistics, and you'd think they would share those more. It's just like the probability in NFL going for it on 4th and 1. Like, well, the statistics say to go for it. What are the true statistics of a 2 and 3 stopper? Who has won? Obviously a yellow flag can mix all that up, but I don't know. I feel like a 2-stopper is going slower, and that's what you don't want to do in a race car. But there's other guys out there that have proven you can still win on 2 stops. So I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if there are stats out there.
Pat, as a guy who has ridden shotgun with you across the country, at least across the Midwest, I think you're a 3-stop guy. I think you're going to set the speed. Yeah.
Yes, I am not. I am not light in the foot by any means. So I want pedal to the metal as fast and as hard as I can at all times. So that, that's me for sure.
I think DeKalb County, Iowa will attest to that.
Screw them. Actually don't. They're nice. That damn entrapment video camera that gets you right when you go into Iowa. Be careful. But I forget the deputy's name or the officer's name that we had a little phone conference and he let me out of the ticket. So that was nice. But not very well posted that you're entering a speed camera. Brian said he did see it, but I did not. So be careful in DeKalb County.
So as you look forward to this Sunday, who are the guys to watch? Who are you thinking about out there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, man, I do feel like it's going to be a game of being opportunistic. There are places on this course to overtake, but it can't be a back and forth affair. I don't think. I think it's going to be people kind of buying their time, finding their moment. I like Lundgaard just because I think he's shown some poise, and he's been good on the road course and the street course both. I just feel like right now he's got a lot of things going for him. He says he's not completely comfortable in that car, but the results look like he's pretty darn comfortable.
Yeah, he's had I think better. I won't even say it luck, but he's producing some since he switched team. Obviously, he won once with Ray Hall, but I think some superior equipment, some superior team members help him to definitely be a candidate. Scotty Max won the last 2. Pato was before that. Pelot was before that. Newgarden's won it twice. Actually, Newgarden's won it 3 times.
3 times.
Powers won it back in 11. But talking about Newgarden real quick, he was in a big accident. I think it was 21 maybe, just because of the elevation changes. He caused pretty 5-6 car pile up. That destroyed cars. So it is a lot of blind coming over hills, stuff like that even the best can, it happens to them too. So Scotty Mack, I don't care if he wins 3 in a row there. I just want it to be a good race, like I said. I think Kirkwood still has let's see what Kirkwood can do. He just came off the win. Let's see if he can back this up, and maybe we can really start talking like a New Garden and a Pillow and an Award. These guys that could real serious contenders.
Yeah, I think if Kyle has a good race here, you got to put him in that picture because the Indy test, like he came out of that feeling really confident as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's definitely got to look at. I'm going to come with one that you're probably not thinking about. A guy who has been pretty solid, especially on road courses. So our last episode was episode 15. I'm going to throw out Graham Rahal. The Indy Grand Prix, he's been solid there. He's been solid in North America, Mid Ohio. The guy gets around road courses pretty well. So it's about time. And Graham needs a victory and needs a solid performance. And I'm going to throw it out there. Like they're coming off the Indy test as well. So
he needs to qualify well.
Yes.
That's the key to Graham. Graham will move up from a 25th, and he'll finish like a 15th. Not that that's super great, but he is consistently will move up in these races. But he has to qualify well. He needs to be in that fast 12 to do it, because I think he won Mid Ohio twice in that years ago. He's won at Detroit, so he definitely knows how to. I don't know if Dixon's ever won here, which is surprising, right?
Yeah, I don't know if he has. It's been a long time.
I'm looking. Pagano, Newgarden, Hunter Ray, Will Power, Helio was in 2010.
2010 was the first race. So
Taku won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no Scott Dixon, which is kind of surprising.
Yes.
So each week, because we're for the last couple of episodes, we're knocking on the door of May, and we're all chomping at the bit to get there. And so we decided we're going to add a little bit of nuance by giving some pointers for IMS the month of May, Speedway, things you don't want to miss out on, things that a local and like Brian and a veteran of IMS like Pat can give us a lot of insight on.
Yeah, you go first.
Yeah, if you're coming to good old Speedway, there are a few things that are kind of must do's when you come to town, especially if you're not coming just on race day. I think number one, you got to hit Charlie Brown's restaurant.
I'm sure.
For get some breakfast, get some. I know Pat's he's a favorite of the Haystack.
Haystack's my favorite, man. It's damn good.
But little biscuits and gravy is good as well. But if you want a good old greasy diner, Charlie Brown's. And the good thing about Charlie's is during the month of May, you don't know who you're going to see in there. I know it's a favorite of Roger Penske, AJ Foyt. A lot of those guys have been going in there for years and years and years. And so when they come to town for the month of May, they like to stop in Charlie's and take a look. So if you're coming to town, find your way down to Charlie Brown's on Main Street.
Oh, the first time I was at the diner with you, I really felt like I was walking into a museum by itself. There's a lot of stop and look at on those walls. And I heard that one time they took all the things down and cleaned the walls, and they had to close the restaurant for a week or something.
It was luckily for them. It was during COVID and everything was shut down anyway. But they took an opportunity. I think they filled a couple buckets of grease as they cleaned those walls. It's been a long time since that place had been cleaned. So to that level.
I think there's other things that Dinwiddie knows more about. But my point, I think a good point could be, if you don't want to go to the race with 300,000 people, there's still plenty to do at the Speedway and in Speedway that you can go to Charlie Brown's. There's a ton of restaurants in downtown Speedway that are reputable businesses, from coffee shops to getting tacos and tequila to getting, pizza and wings at Big Woods,
A couple of breweries. You've got the Daredevil Brewery, Big Woods. You've got the Foyt Wine Vault. That's, AJ's part of AJ's family owns that. And it's good eats and more memorabilia there as well. You've got O'Reilly's Irish Pub. You've got Dawson's, which has been the long-standing restaurant on the stretch. So plenty of places right there just within Speedway to hit up. And then there's some antique shops and boutiques and things along there too that make for a good time if you're coming in for the week or weekend. So,
well, Speedway to me is a lot like Santa Claus, Indiana, where Santa Claus, Indiana, it's Christmas 365 days a year. In Speedway, Indiana, it's 365 days a year.
That's our Christmas right here in this town.
There's SIK, the indoor go-kart track, super fun.
Good point.
Those things are quick. I think they're all battery powered now. I think they took the gas engines out.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
So
some teams have their facilities there, right?
That's right. Junco's Hollinger, the Foyt shop is there. Dallara IndyCar Factory, so where all the chassis are made for IndyCar, right there on Main Street. The Bell Helmet place, so it is all IndyCar racing, motorsports capital of the world. But don't forget about the museum. The IMS museum got its makeover this spring or over the last year, and it opened up in April. And so you can buy tickets ahead of time to, obviously it's not open on race day, but the week leading up, and jump in there and check out the amazing history in that place. I've yet to get in there since it's reopened, but that's definitely on my list too.
I think we mentioned the parade the day before. It's I haven't been in years, but it's actually really cool. Even for an adult, all the drivers are there. The Pacers show up, the Colts show up. I'm sure Gronk will be there. I think he's the Grand Marshal. So it's fun, and it's not like a million people are at this parade. You can get pretty close and personal on the streets of downtown Indianapolis, and shouting out to your favorite driver, and they're waving back to you. So it's pretty cool. Bring the kids for sure.
Yeah, my daughters go with their mom and grandma every year. My wife takes them down there, and a couple of years ago, my daughter's a big Scott Dixon fan, and as he drove by, my brother-in-law yelled up and said, "Hey, Scott, can we get a picture?" And he said, "Yeah." And so Braylee jumped up on the car and got her picture right there with Scott. That's how approachable those guys are. So
awesome.
Good things. So
that's why I say Speedway is a vibe all the time, but in May it's like electric.
That's right. We're just a couple of days away now of and now the feeling in this town just changes.
And Brian, I think he, he's the guy who puts his Christmas lights up the day before Thanksgiving, and that everyone in the neighborhood's mad. So I think he got a jump start on the May decor from everyone in the neighborhood.
It did. I had a few minutes this last weekend and make sure I got my yard decorated in time. I don't want to miss May 1st. So I got the flag to hang up on May 1st, but everything else is ready to go. Shout out to Kelly Landscaping and the boys for coming in, doing a little spring cleanup and throw some mulch down to make it look even better. So
I'm not allowed to put up my race attire. Mine's Welcome Race Fans, Miller Lite. The wife doesn't like that hanging out. Race weekend, she'll allow it, but she doesn't like the look that it provides for our neighborhood and our house. So I stick up the flag. I might get the Dario cut out or the Borg Warner cut out, sneak it. But yeah, the Miller Lite Race Fans has to wait till race weekend.
Let's go to the backyard, Pat.
Right. I know.
Now, at this point, I gotta think the neighbors know what to expect. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I cut the grass, the shirt off, everything. I was power washing the other day, shirt off. It's just a nice friendly neighborhood. Yeah, they know what they're getting. That's funny.
All right, well, another great episode, and but you can tell the excitement's building in the community. But for us, we're getting pretty amped up. So we're ready to roll, man. Let's get this May thing going.
It's race time now. Let's get this stretch and keep the momentum rolling as this goes. So yep.
Get these next two road courses over, and then it's heavy ovals. So it's our kind of racing after this for the most part. Mixed in a couple other road courses, but then the real racing starts, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then we'll catch you right after the race in Alabama there at Barber and with our post-race reaction. So we're thrilled to be watching another race.